Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30, and so I'm going to call this July meeting of the McLean County Board to order. And we will open with the invocation or moment of silence from member Leah Klein.
This evening, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our first responders right here in our own community and across the country. Lately, our thoughts are with those working tirelessly in Central Texas, where devastating floods have upended lives and tested the limits of emergency response. These individuals put themselves at risk to keep others safe, often without thanks and always without hesitation. Their courage reminds us of the strength and resilience that binds our communities together in the face of crisis. Please join me now in a moment of silence to honor their service and their sacrifice.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll.
Leah Klein.
Present.
Alex Duffy.
Present.
Sean Fagan.
Present.
Buck Farley. Absent. William John Friedrich.
Present.
Eric Hansen. Absent. Val Lehman.
Present.
Brian Leffler. Here. Mike O'Neill.
Here.
Adam Reeves. Here. Jim Rogal.
Present.
Natalie Roseman Mendoza.
Here.
Andy Zebarth.
Here.
Sorry, I missed Jeff Tompkins.
Here.
And Andy. Crystal Abel.
Present.
Corey Byrne.
Present.
Beverly Bell.
Present.
Mark Klaus. Absent. Elizabeth Johnston.
And I am here. Yep. So we have 16 present, 3 absent. That gives us a quorum. So we will move on to item number 5, and that is appearance by members of the public and county employees. Ms. Taylor?
We do have 4 requests to speak this evening, and each of those members will have 3 minutes to speak, unless they're representing an organization. The first up this evening to come to the podium is Ruth Burke, please. Thank you for coming, Ruth. You will see the 3-minute timer is up on the display if you'd like to use that to help keep you at pace. Thank you.
My name is Ruth. I'm a resident of Old Town Township, and I'm a first-gen farmer. I'm the only person in McLean County who actively farms with oxen, the only artist in the United States who makes artistic earthworks with draft animal power, and I've received national and international recognition for my work as an ox drover and as an artist. The McLean County Regional Planning Commission's draft future land use puts my farm, where my art studio and my animals reside, and a separate earthwork at the ISU Horticulture Center at economic and ecological risk. I'm just one of many farms, and even more county residents who will be negatively impacted by the careless lack of ground proofing by the MCRPC. The plan's current land use map is riddled with errors, thus nullifying the future suggested uses for places around our county. Does 2 + 2 always equal 4? Not if the 2 is 6. This document intends to prescribe future decisions for the entire county. Quote, this strategic land use plan will allow Bloomington, Normal, and McLean County to accurately address development pressures in the immediate future and in the coming years, end quote. Immediate future and coming years. Once accepted, this is a prescriptive document. It forces farmers, including beginning and small farmers, further from their primary market, which is the urban areas, prioritizes housing islands devoid of community or home rule. In a 15-mile radius from 61701, the Illinois Stewardship Alliance reports 68 contacts. Extend that out to 50 miles, and there's over 400 contacts. Many of us also use the Illinois Extension as a resource. With industrial and residential sprawl, many farms will be burdened with literally absorbing the ecological impact of such development in the impervious surface areas these require. This includes rainwater runoff, light pollution, air pollution, increased traffic. Our county put together a fantastic health plan. I actually took a peek at it, didn't read all of it. The massive industrial expansion proposed in this draft will result in higher light, air, traffic pollution. It will disturb wildlife, change drainage, and impact soil and crop quality, thus negatively impacting the health of all county residents. These are all interconnected, not separate issues. My ask, my plea to all of you is that you simply vote no when this plan comes up for a vote. Because unless some public document shows otherwise, it appears that you do not, in fact, have authority over the MCRPC. This effectively makes them unaccountable to you, to me, or to any county residents. The plan is predicated on rushed and inaccurate data, fails to include any sort of thorough analysis on the environmental, cultural, and fiscal impacts, and in short, it really doesn't seem like it's in the best interest of everyone in the county. Maybe just corporations, developers, and the city of Bloomington and town of Normal. And to be completely honest, I'm very hesitant and nervous to be here to speak up. This is a small town, but the importance of this plan overrides my fear of retribution. I invite every single one of you to come see our farm, the protected wetland ecosystem, the sustainable farming practices, the acres of native prairie plants, to actually ground proof and get a very small taste of what will be negatively impacted by the over 1,400 acres of proposed industrial activity in Southeast Bloomington. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Valerie Parker. Valerie Parker. Okay, we'll move on. Next on the list is Katie Buckley, and she represents University of Illinois Extension, so she will have 5 minutes.
I'll try to keep it brief. Good evening. My name is Katie Buckley. I'm the County Director with the University of Illinois Extension Office serving Livingston, McLean, and Woodford counties. I come to you tonight with some updates on Extension as it relates to McLean County. I want to begin by addressing a significant development due to the sweeping changes of House Bill 1. SNAP Ed programs will no longer exist in Illinois. SNAP Ed is a federally funded nutrition education and obesity prevention program that serves low-income populations. Currently, Illinois receives $19 million annually for SNAP Ed. Of that, Livingston and McLean counties receive approximately $350,000 each year, supporting vital programs in schools, community centers, and partner organizations. These programs help participants stretch their food dollars further, improve diet quality and physical activity, manage chronic conditions through nutrition, and increase access to healthy food and active living opportunities. In 2024, our local impact in McLean County included 8 partnerships at K-12 schools, 3 early childhood center partnerships, 5 emergency food site collaborations, 13 partnerships with other community organizations, 293 nutrition education classes, and 1,178 participants reached. We are actively exploring alternative funding models to continue delivering these essential services. If you have any additional questions about this funding loss or would like more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at kbuckley@illinois.edu or call my office at 309-663-8306. Switching gears to a little more lighter note, next week marks the start of the 2025 McLean County 4-H Show and the McLean County Fair. I warmly invite you as elected officials and community members to come see the incredible work of our 4-H youth have put into their projects. Drop-off is scheduled for Tuesday, July 22nd. General project judging will take place throughout the day on July 23rd. Livestock shows will run throughout the week. You can find the full schedule on the McLean County 4-H website. A special thank you to the McLean County Farm Bureau for providing fair passes to our elected officials. This is a great opportunity to witness the future of our community in action. I appreciate your time this evening. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Katie. Next up is Tricia Braid.
Well, I wanted to be back here tonight at this microphone about as much as you wanted to see me back here tonight at this microphone. I'd like nothing better than to believe our concerns triggered a course correction in how the McLean County Regional Planning Commission's draft strategic land use plan is being rolled out, but here we are. I'm Tricia Braid from Hayworth. Over the past 3 weeks, I've spent far too much time trying to figure out who exactly is accountable for the Commission's flawed model and shoddy processes. If it walks like gaslighting and talks like gaslighting, it's gaslighting, and that's what I've encountered at every turn. I hadn't planned to speak tonight. I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt to the commission, but today I received a copy of an email from the commission chair, Mr. Teichman, sent to Hayworth staff. He wrote, quote, "The land use plan is the initial phase of a comprehensive plan for McLean County. In cooperation with county administration, a new process has begun," end quote. Wait, what? In cooperation with county administration? That's news to more than just me, I'd wager. He also claimed, quote, "Feedback is being sought from all municipalities in the county and at all levels," end quote. That's demonstrably false. As recently as Tuesday evening of this week, officials in Funks Grove and Dale Townships confirmed they'd heard nothing. Randolph Township officials were just notified yesterday of the commission's intent to make a presentation at a future meeting of the road commissioners. Notification of a presentation is not the same as collaboration. Same for mayors. Hayworth's mayor today told me that there's been a notification of a presentation at the July 31st mayor's meeting, but no request for input, no review, no seat at the table to help develop the plan. Now let's look at the commission's June 24th press release. It states, quote, "This plan is intended to serve as an offshoot of the McLean County Regional Comprehensive Plan update currently being developed," end quote. But there's been no public announcement of a comprehensive plan update. It also says, quote, "All feedback received will help inform the final map document anticipated by August 2025, end quote. Wait, what? That's right, the commission had planned to finalize this next month. That's not how inclusive regional planning is supposed to work. This plan is being rushed to completion with a press release, a survey link, and some invitations for PowerPoint presentations. That's not community engagement, and it's definitely not checks, notes, feedback being sought from all municipalities in the county and at all levels. This has to stop. I'm worn out trying to identify which tree I'm supposed to be barking up. Somebody needs to take responsibility and say, hey, we've really fouled up the rollout. Let's regroup and do it right. That's all we're asking for: leadership, humility, and a genuine commitment to serving all of McLean County.
Thank you. That's the end of our request to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Moving on to item 6, the consent agenda. May I have a motion? Motion by Member Duffy. May I have a second? Second by Member Natalie Roseman Mendoza. Comments and questions? Yes, Vice Chair Rogel.
Yes, Madam Chair, I need to be recorded as recusing my vote from item 6E2C of the consent agenda.
Okay, that is noted. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Member Abel.
6F1A.
6F1A, okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of item 6, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. With that, we have a presentation. Member Klein, if you would like to invite your people to the microphone.
If you're here with Lifelong Access, Easter Seals, the Health Department, or the 377 Board, if you'd like to come up and stand behind me. Goes great. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure this evening to provide you with a proclamation having to do with Disability Pride Month. So I'll just read that. Proclamation of the McLean County Board recognizing July as Disability Pride Month in McLean County. Whereas July is nationally recognized as Disability Pride Month, a time to honor the history, achievements, and contributions of people with disabilities, and to celebrate their strength, resilience, and invaluable role in every community. And whereas this year marks the 34th anniversary of the landmark American with Disabilities Act, signed into law on July 26, 1990, which ensures equal rights and protections for individuals with disabilities in employment, education, transportation, public accommodations, and access to government services. And whereas in McLean County, individuals with disabilities are essential members of our community, contributing as students, workers, family members, neighbors, volunteers, and advocates, enriching the social, cultural, and economic fabric of our county. And whereas despite significant progress, many people with developmental disabilities continue to encounter barriers to full participation in society, including challenges in securing meaningful employment, safe and affordable housing, and equitable access to education. And whereas families and individuals often rely on a coordinated system of public programs and nonprofit services to access critical resources and support that enable people with disabilities to thrive. And whereas the McLean County Board for the Care and Treatment of Persons with a Developmental Disability, which we call the 377 Board for short, demonstrates unwavering commitment to advancing equity, accessibility, and community inclusion by funding services and initiatives that empower individuals with developmental disabilities to lead fulfilling, independent, and connected lives. And whereas in 2025, the 377 Board will invest over $830,000 in essential programs, including early intervention, behavioral therapies, vocational training, and supported living, designed to foster opportunity and promote full participation for residents with developmental disabilities. And whereas in 2024 alone, over 1,500 McLean County residents received direct services through funding provided by the 377 Board. And whereas partner organizations such as Homes of Hope, Lifelong Access, and Easter Seals are among the leading providers of services funded by the 377 Board and are widely recognized for their dedication to enhancing independence, dignity, and community engagement for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the McLean County Board recognizes the month of July 2025 as Disability Pride Month in McLean County, Illinois, and urge all residents to recognize and celebrate the contributions of individuals with disabilities, to support efforts that advance accessibility and inclusion, and to reaffirm our shared commitment to equity and justice for all. Unfortunately, the representative from Homes of Hope is ill and is unable to join us, but we have representatives from the 377 Board, Easter Seals, and Lifelong Access, and I want to give them just a second to say something at the microphone.
Hi, I'm Becky, and I am Hines, and I am chair of the 377 Board. We're a small board of 5 members, and it's our charge to take that $800,000 plus that Leah mentioned and allocate it to programs where it's needed most. And we have the opportunity to work with agencies like the ones behind me to make sure that that money is used and people in this McLean County residents really have the opportunity to grow and thrive. The programs we fund are everywhere from birth through senior citizens and old age. So we run the gamut of programs and services. Thank you.
Sure, thank you very much. I'm Carl Kopp, the CEO with Lifelong Access. I just want to share our appreciation. So we've been around for 70 years. This fiscal year's Lifelong Access has been in this county for 70 years. We've helped thousands of people over that time, and because of your support, we're providing person-centered services. So thank you so much for helping us make a difference, I really do. And if you wouldn't mind, these are individuals who work on the front lines with those people that you support with the services. So if you just want to introduce yourself and mention some of the programs you're involved with.
I'm Jennifer Randall, and I am the VP of our adult programs. So I oversee our SILAs, which are group homes, our day program, and then our supported employment, and a few other wellness, recreational programs.
Dan Ramos, VP of Operations, and I work with the Pediatric Therapy and the Speech and Occupational Therapy Center in our downtown campus.
My name is Jack Penoyer, and I'm the Transition Coordinator for Lifelong Access, working with our teens and young adults with disabilities, looking to get more independent in their homes and their communities with technology and with each other.
My name is Eric Zadansky. I'm the Grants and Quality Assurance Manager at Lifelong Access, so I get to intimately work with the 377 board writing those applications and looking for lots of other different kinds of grant opportunities to further our programs.
My name's Eric Lowe. I am Vice President of Clinical Operations at Easter Seals. We as well express our gratitude to everything that this board has helped fund through the years. Easter Seals primarily birth to 18, occasionally up to 21 for physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and ABA. We've had a long standing relationship with the community, and we're just grateful to continue to be able to serve as many children as possible.
And thank you so much.
I want to thank Member Klein for bringing that to our attention and creating the proclamation for this month, and all the service providers that are doing wonderful work. We appreciate you. Moving on, we will start with our standing committees, and that is item 7A, Executive Committee, and I'll turn that over to Vice Chair Jim Rogel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Executive Committee brings a few items for action tonight. The first one is 7A1A, request approval of emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2025 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for behavioral health coordination. This requires a 2/3 county board approval pursuant to 55 ILCS 5/6-1003. And I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Klein. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have 7A1B, which is a request approval of contract with Home Sweet Home Ministries for construction and operation of the bridge, and I so move.
Second by Member Byrne. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I believe the motion passes. Back to you.
Next up, we have 7A1C, request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 20, County Board Rules, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Leffler. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1C, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
7A1D, request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 257, Chapter 350, and DT table massage parlors, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Fagan. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1D, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have 7A1E, request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending Chapter 37, Ethics, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Bell. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1E, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Up again, we have 7A1F, request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending the McLean County Code, Chapter 108, Article 7, miscellaneous benefits and entitlements, and I so move.
Excellent. May I have a second? Second by Member Fagan. Comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1F, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next and last up, we have 7A1G, request approval of a resolution for an amendment to the Mental Health and Public Safety Fund audit.
May I have a motion? Motion by Member Klein and a second by Member Lehman. Comments or questions? Member Byrne.
Thank you, Chair. Within this, have we begun to define the terms of this audit? Do we have any parameters that we are specifically seeking to learn when we conduct this audit?
So, no, we have not begun that conversation. At this point, it is simply allowing the IGA to pay for it. The scope of the work will be defined, and there would be an RFP, I believe, put out to define the scope of the work before any proposal gets approved. So all of that will get defined,
And that
just
RFP,
not in this.
Pardon me, I'm sorry. And that RFP will include government partners on the town and on the city, so we can involve all stakeholders in what is needed in this audit.
The partners would be involved with the scope of work. The RFP would come back to this board.
Of course, understand. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7A1G, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
That's one no. Motion passes. Back to you, Vice Chair Rogel.
The Executive Committee has no other items to be presented for action. Our general report can be found on pages 35 through 46 of the unapproved minutes.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 7B, Finance Committee. Member Lehman.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnston. The Finance Committee has one item to be presented for action this evening. That's item number B1A, the request approval of the ordinance temporarily amending Chapter 205-32, fees for animal adoptions, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7B1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you, Member Lehman.
Thank you very much. The Finance Committee has no other items to be presented for action this evening. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes packet, and I will just bring your attention to the new animal services facility is becoming very close to opening, hence the item that we just voted on to actually go through and make all of the current animals that are residing in the existing facility at a really great price. So that way we can hopefully find them a forever home before they would have to be transferred to a new home. So if you have any animals or if you have any need for an animal or you know someone who does, we would absolutely encourage you to reach out to our animal services facility. There are puppies and kitties that just would love to go home with you. Other than that, I have no other items to be presented for information. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on, item 7C, Health Committee, and that is Member Byrne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Health Committee does not have any items for action tonight. I do have a couple items of general interest that I would like to bring forward. It has been a busy month and things are proceeding apace with county's healthcare agencies. The nursing home construction is on pace. There were some unexpected challenges that came up, but were quickly alleviated with some help from the partners at the City of Bloomington. County jail health staff has had a new safety feature installed in a new medical unit, a barrier that helps create a safer workspace by reducing direct physical contact and higher risk interactions and still allowing clear communication and visibility. It also supports HIPAA compliance by offering greater privacy during medical consultations. Jail med staff has reported an increase in sick calls and mental health needs, so we are working to adjust resources, identify needed changes to best practices to ensure everyone's well-being. And Director Magana of the Health Department shared vital information about the importance of vaccines in our community and the availability of vaccines for McLean County residents through programs such as Vaccines for Children and the 317 programs. Data shows that there are about 32,000 individuals in McLean County, 14,000 of whom are children, who are currently enrolled in Medicaid. These folks are eligible for the VFC and 317 programs. It's about 20% of the county's population. With school approaching, families may take advantage of the back-to-school vaccine clinics offered by the Health Department, upcoming on July 30th at the Western Avenue Community Center, August 1st at the Danvers Township buildings, and walk-in appointments are also available at the Health Department on August 12th and 13th. Appointments can also be made at any time. July and August are the busiest months, so please don't wait. The Board of Health also met in July after skipping June meeting and got a look at this year's Community Health Needs Assessment. At just about 300 pages, it compiles data from the community, the health department, local hospitals, treatment centers, and many other agencies to compile a data-based strategy and specific targets for healthcare improvement. While still in draft form, pending approval from other agencies, the council identified the following three health priorities and significant health needs for our community. Number one, access to care. Number two, behavioral health, including mental health and substance abuse. And number three, healthy eating and active living, including exercise, nutrition, obesity, and food access, and addressing food insecurity. Lastly, the Health Committee is closely monitoring the discussions about the shared sales tax. We are committed to maintaining the very effective partnership we have with the city and the town, and we support the good work done by the healthcare agencies in our community. With that, I've reached out to every member of the Bloomington City Council and the Normal Town Council and begun meeting with them individually to identify areas of concern and improvement, and I look forward as well to addressing those partners at the respective upcoming meetings and continuing a positive dialogue. Other than that, our unapproved minutes can be found on pages 9 to 11 of the general report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on, item 7D, Justice Committee, back to Vice Chair Rogal. I think you have the mic for the most of the meeting.
Thank you again. 7D1A is request approval of the agreement between the McLean County Children's Advocacy Center and the Children's Advocacy Centers of Illinois DCFS grant, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Back to you.
Next up is 7D1B, request approval of the agreement between the McLean County CAC and the Children's Advocacy Centers of Illinois VOCA grant, and I so move.
Excellent. May I have a second? Second by Member Klein. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1B, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have 7D1C, which is request approval of the agreement between CASA of McLean and Logan Counties, and the Illinois Association of Court-Appointed Special Advocates DCFS grant, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Leffler. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1C, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next up, we have 7D1D, request approval of the agreement between CASA of McLean and Logan Counties and the Attorney General of the State of Illinois VCVA grant, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Duffy. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1D, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the last item for action by the Justice Committee is 7D1E, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean, Tri-Valley Community Unit School District 3, and the McLean County Sheriff, and I so move.
May I have a second? Second by Member Zebarth. Comments or questions? Is that a comment? Seeing none, all in favor of item 7D1E, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
The Justice Committee has no other items to be presented for action. Our unofficial report can be found on pages 16 through 20 of the unapproved minutes.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Moving on to item 7E, Property Committee, and that is with Member Abel.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnston. The Property Committee brings one item for action, 7E1A, request approval of a master installation agreement with Johnson Controls, Inc. for an emergency generator at the 200 West Front Street building. This was an item tabled from our June 2025 meeting, and I so move.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second by Member Bell. Comments and questions. We had quite a few questions last month, and we have staff members here to answer questions that might come up today. Yes. Member Friedrich.
I guess I would like to ask Building if they could expand upon the bid a little bit more. Seems like an exorbitant cost. I don't know how we initiate this or.
So I'd like to ask Mr. Gaither, and I believe Mr. Myers is here from Johnson Control as well. Yes, if everybody can come up, and we've also got Scott Fogler and Ms. McKnight, if there are any questions specifically about the need for the building, if you'd please come up as well.
Good evening, everybody. I've got Scott Fogler here, who's our project manager, who worked on this along with Jason Myers. Jason is a program consultant from Johnson Controls. I'm going to turn it over to them, but first I'd like Jason to introduce the gentleman that he has with him as well.
Hey, everybody, thanks for allowing us to be here. So I've got Jim Beezer here to my immediate left. Jim leads up our operations team at Johnson Controls, and then Amir Hagigat heads up our engineering group for this project. So good to meet you all.
So, Member Friedrich, if you'd like to start with your questions.
I guess my first question is looking at the scale of the cost of this project, and basically we're keeping power on for 3 coolers, just a couple coolers for medication. What currently now is it generating, supplying power for, I guess, total?
Yes. Go ahead.
It's a small percentage of the building. It's mostly emergency power, but the coolers that you referenced are vaccine coolers. So it's essentially medications. Do you want to elaborate on that, or anything additional on that?
So the coolers are actually medical grade refrigerators that are keeping the vaccines at temperature. So those are what are being maintained by the generator in terms of the health department.
The physical size of it, would it be comparable to 4 average size refrigerators common in a house that you're keeping vaccines?
I would say no, not comparable to your home. They're medical grade, so they are more.
I understand that, but the physical cubic foot capacity of them would be comparable. I guess I should be, because they didn't look very big to me.
Right, yeah, so I guess size-wise they could be. I couldn't speak to the power or the energy or the wattage or anything of the refrigerators.
It's my opinion that they look like they could be supplied with a generator much smaller than what they have. I'm just not getting the cost on this. So technically, you got to walk me through this. It looks to me I could go to Lowe's and get a generator, and the amp requirement would be comparable. What are we doing? And I understand is there some redundancy in this system?
Well, it's also emergency power for the building, for the rest of the building as well. You got to have lighting and stuff if we lose power to the building, as well as the elevators. It's probably between, I guess, 10 to 20% of the building approximately. But it does all the emergency equipment as well. So it's not just those coolers.
Okay.
Other comments or questions? Member Reeves?
So can we get a breakdown in the cost, because it's $353,000. I've got a quote for the machine with a life safety panel. We're sub 30,000. So where's the other 300,000 going? I realize you got to get a crane to set it on the roof. $1,000 an hour, 8 hours. We could do that all day long. Where's the rest of the money going?
Yeah, so if I could just
Go ahead, Jim.
briefly to maybe the scope. I think you're looking for direction on overall scope. What are we doing here? Why is it so involved? So right now you've got a generator up in the penthouse. It's serving a transfer switch down in the basement. So there's a connection between the two with conduit and wire. That emergency panel down in the basement, or there's a transfer switch that transfers power to several emergency panels down in the basement. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Those panels right now have loads, mixed loads on them. It has the fire alarm system, it has the emergency lighting, it has your exit signs, it has your generator, or I'm sorry, your elevator, other loads like that that are required for life safety and egress in the event that the building power goes out. When we ran into this issue with the medical grade refrigerators and the vaccines, it kind of pushed us into another realm of the NEC code, which is this medical component. It's not just your normal exit signs and exit lighting anymore. It becomes something else. And we did reach out to the AHJ electrical, I think, inspector here, and they said, yeah, you kind of need to do that. So if there's a variance that we could get, maybe in not having to provide that separate automatic transfer switch. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have two separate transfer switches, and our generator up top needs to have two separate breakers on it. And we're gonna add some conduit from the top all the way to the bottom, penthouse down to the mechanical room. So we'll have two separate conduits, one that feeds one transfer switch, the other one feeds the other transfer switch. All these loads over here on these panels, they need to be put on panels over here. So there's several panels that we're adding in to move those loads onto this side of the equation, and the other loads stay on this side of the equation. So it's more than just swapping out the generator. It's kind of redoing the whole electrical infrastructure down in the basement to move those loads to the appropriate panels per the code. So that's why the price is up there. Like I said, new conduits coming from the top down, new wiring from the top down. It's a little different makeup generator because it's got two breakers on it rather than one. Not a major cost item, but the HJ kind of pushed us down that road of getting those two separate transfer switches. Now, if it's possible to get a variance for that from the HJ, then we could maybe just have one transfer switch down in the basement. That would definitely save some cost because we don't have to move those loads. We don't have to provide that other transfer switch and those extra panels. But that's why the cost is kind of where it's at. It seems high, but that's because we're adding all this equipment in to meet the code.
Member Reeves.
So the packet we have says reusing the existing conduit. So you're talking about something that maybe that's the reality. Maybe we don't have all the information, but that's what I read. Did it?
Sure, if I can clarify. So that transfer switch that's over here right now is fed with conduit and wire. That conduit we're reusing. We're going to pull some new wire in there, but we need to add another separate brand new conduit basically right next to it that goes over to this transfer switch. So we are reusing the conduit that goes from the top to the bottom, but we're also adding one in so that, right, we've got the capacity down in the basement that we need. So you're right, and we probably should have expanded a little bit more on that scope to say reuse one new and install one new.
A line item bid would be awesome because this is just pie in the sky as far as I'm concerned.
Member Seaborth.
So for clarity, the existing generator system does not function in the way that this replacement will, correct?
Correct.
So was there a code prior that we weren't in alignment with, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the codes evolve over time and
Okay.
the age of the system. Sometimes it's grandfathered in. If you got a 40-year-old generator or 30-year-old generator, you know, the NEC codes, they get updated. So as soon as you touch things, sometimes you're involved in a new set of rules. And that's where the refrigerators came into the equation. And we asked the HJ, and they said, yeah, you need to separate those into two separate transfer switches. By code, there needs to be a life safety transfer switch and an emergency transfer switch. That's the way a new building would be built.
Other comments or questions? Member Lehman.
So just a bit of clarity, in the event that this measure would not go forward tonight with the intent of, could we see if we can get a variance? Is that something that would potentially put the building or projects, processes, et cetera, in harm's way? Is this code update that we're currently not in line with, does it have implications on any overall like safety items, or is it merely just like an update to technology or something along those lines?
It's kind of an update to the current code, right? I mean, the thing that's pushing this whole process down the path that we're on is the medical grade refrigerators. If you took those out of the building, all the rules change, right? Because we don't have to deal with vaccines and medical grade stuff. If the HJ can provide a variance, we could obviously simplify, because we can reuse that conduit. We don't have to add a new conduit. We don't have to add new panels. There's a transformer that we have to add. So there's a whole bunch of electrical infrastructure that could be modified by getting that NEC variance from the electrical inspector.
Member Byrne? What was the comment?
I said which we haven't had any luck with being able to get a variance thus far to do that when we met with them prior while we were developing this, but.
Got it. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a request for clarification from Director McKnight, if I could. I'm looking at the report from Health Committee meeting, the vaccine program that I mentioned the other day, VFC, Vaccines for Children. There are a number of requirements that go along with that. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So reading from the report, I'm seeing VFC providers must ensure proper storage and handling of vaccines, including the use of continuous temperature monitoring devices, electronic data loggers, alarms for out-of-range temperatures, and backup temperature monitoring. In addition, providers must follow recommendations for the types of pharmaceutical or medical-grade vaccine storage units used, storage unit placement, and even vaccine storage setup, including placement of vaccines in the approved units, and use of water bottles to help maintain stable temperatures with the frequent opening and closing of units during the day. So these are all requirements that are required by code, is that correct?
By the Vaccines for Children program, yes.
Got it. So if we didn't live up to these, we'd not be able to participate in this Vaccines for Children program?
That is possible, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments and questions?
Yes.
Member Reeves?
Am I doing that right? Is it red
You are
light
on.
being-
Member
all right,
Tompkins.
Very good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, has the old generator ever failed?
Not completely failed, but it has a lot of mechanical issues right now. And, you know, I think previously that it was stated that the unit is 25 years old. It is 49 years old. The lifespan of a generator is 25 years, but the current one we have now is 49 years old. Just to expand on the code question, codes were a lot different back then than they are now, and obviously the building use is different now with the vaccines and things like that. So we have some bad seals, we have some exhaust issues. We're limping it through. We have been limping it through for the last couple years. One other thing, just for context, we started this to get the whole building on a generator. That was the ask, and we were hoping to have the unit moved from up in the penthouse to the roof, easier accessibility, not as difficult as far as maintenance and things like that, and it would allow us a lot more room up in the penthouse for other items. So all these gentlemen here worked on that initial plan, and we found out going through structural engineering and some of the electrical that it just wasn't feasible weight-wise to be on that roof. We would have had to put columns all the way down to the basement. And just so everyone knows, this is a 7-story building. I mean, it's 5 floors, but it's got a basement and a penthouse. So anytime we're talking about taking wires down and through, it's extremely difficult because not only is it 7 stories, there's no clear pathway to get this stuff up through. There's a mechanical chase that is extremely overloaded already. It's going to be quite the job to get that through. So there is a heavy amount of labor on here that makes it completely different than other systems that have been referenced. And, you know, there's different labor rates and different requirements through the government. So just to get an overall picture of where we are. So once we found out we couldn't do a full building, we had to step back. It was just completely, the price was completely off our budget. So working with these gentlemen, we scaled back and we said, what can we get? We need something because this unit's going to fail. So hopefully that just helps with a little bit of context.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Member Reeves?
I don't think anybody disagrees with the fact that we need a new generator. It's just how we implement it going forward. And the other part of the story is, as we do the lighting upgrades, everything is getting more efficient. So that same generator will be able to do more as we go forward because you reduce the lighting loads, the elevator motors will be more efficient, everything will be more efficient. It's just how do we deploy the capital to do it?
Other comments or questions? Member Bell?
So if we didn't have this upgrade, I have a 2-part question. If we didn't have this upgrade, would the elevators still work, or has there ever been an outage of the elevator system because the generator did not click in?
No, I don't think we've ever had a failure. It's more when it's running, the issues that we have, like I mentioned before, with exhaust and sealant. The biggest issue is if we lose a key component part, they're getting very difficult to get shipped to us or from anywhere because it's so old. There's just been so many generations of new generators. That's our worry, is if we have a catastrophic failure, we can't just swap out a part. Then we're under the gun of swapping out a full unit in an emergency situation versus being proactive, which is what we're trying to do.
Okay, there was a fire in the building maybe 15, 20 years ago. Correctional officer tried to use the elevator with a prisoner, got trapped in there and was seriously hurt. Do you guys remember that far back? Well, her name was Jackie Fenton. Jackie Fenton was seriously hurt. I will be voting yes for this because of the fact that you need to have things upgraded. And if that is 49 years old, I worked in that building 49 years ago, and I remember it when it first ran, and I remember how things were. And I think we need to upgrade, as we've done with our lighting and a lot of other things in that building. So I will be voting yes, sir.
And this is completely off the cuff, but for our Johnson specialist here, what kind of price tag would we be looking at if it was an emergency replacement? When we're trying to, I mean, if that's what we're trying to be proactive and prevent from putting us in that position, because we've been in positions where we've had emergencies, what would a cost on a system like this run in an emergency?
Yeah, that's hard to digest. I mean, you'd roll up something on a semi next to the building and you'd run power into the building, connect it to all the panels that it's currently connected to. So it's not going to be the price that we're talking about for this, but it would be a price that you'd be paying and then you'd be fixing after that, right? So you'd
So
have
it'd
to
be
get
this
a
price
temporary generator,
plus-
a temporary tie-in, all the electrical that's required to do that. You'd get those panels up and running in probably a day or two, or if it's available, same day, right? If we get all the resources available to get that done, it'll happen right away. But then we still have a problem, and we still need to fix that. So now it's just cost on top of cost.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Member Abel.
If there was a failure and the medical grade refrigerators weren't getting power, how long would the vaccines last?
Couldn't say exact timeframes, but we would have to also figure out an emergency measure because we would want to maintain those temperatures in any way we can. So we do have some other backups that could potentially be short-term while we get the replacement. But yeah, I don't know the exact times. I don't know how long it would take for them to get out of temperature.
Okay, thank you.
Member Tompkins?
Yes, Ms. McKnight, how dependent is the county's participation in the children's vaccine program dependent on storing those vaccines in this location?
So are you meaning
So we
in
gotta
that
store them there,
building?
or we can't participate in the program if we don't store them there?
We would have to store them in the type of refrigerator that would be approved, and obviously it would make the most sense to have them on site due to how often we're giving them throughout the day. And so I'm in the transport, so we also have to maintain the temperature from transport. So it gets complicated as well if you're taking them into the temporary coolers. So I think it's not a requirement to be on site, but definitely the best business practice for us.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Oh, Member O'Neill, you have to get your hand up higher so I can see it over the chair.
The chair's in the way. How many hours of runtime does the current generator have?
You may remember this. I don't remember offhand, but was it 1,000?
1,008.
Was it 1,000? Okay, 1,000.
It's not very many hours for 50 years old.
Comments? Member Byrne?
Thank you. Partly in answer to Member Abel's question and speaking to Member Zebar's question from the Health Department report the other day, the VFC vaccines deemed non-viable due to provider negligence must be replaced on a dose-by-dose basis with privately purchased vaccines at a loss to the provider. Privately purchased vaccines that have been exposed to temperatures outside the recommended range deemed non-viable may also need to be discarded at cost to the provider. Costs for privately purchased vaccines can range anywhere from around $20 to approximately $500 per dose.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Member Reeves?
Mr. Burns brings up a good point. How many dollars worth of vaccines are we protecting in this, these 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers, if I'm not mistaken?
It definitely varies throughout the year. So as mentioned in my report, August is that back to school time, even end of July right now, we would have more, so hundreds to thousands of dollars of vaccine at a time. We also, again, just try to limit the amount we can have on hand. But yeah, so I have the total of vaccines that we've given in a year, but the ones that we have on hand, we order based on what we anticipate to give. And so in a July or August, our busiest seasons, you could have thousands of dollars of vaccine on hand. That would be a loss to us because we would have to pay for that even if we, and we would not be able to bill insurance and get any type of reimbursement. It would be a total loss to us.
I couldn't hear what you said. Did you say hundreds or hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Hundreds to thousands, yes.
Hundreds to thousands.
Yep. And obviously, again, with a dose being upwards of $400, it depends also on what vaccines we have on hand at the time.
Member Friedrich?
We do have other offices. I'm certain have something similar to these medical units, possibly in the coroner's office. I'm sure there's medication in the jail that is refrigerated and is also on emergency. And I was just wondering, I mean, they transfer things back and forth. If that was looked at as an option, so as to not have the double redundancy in the generator. So if we did have a failure, that they could be transferred to another right across the parking lot.
That's a good question. I am not aware of any medical grade refrigerators in the jail or in the coroner's office. If we had those, we would have to have the appropriate switch gears on our current generators in the Law and Justice Center as well.
Any other comments or questions? Member Reeves?
So in the incorporation of this, like some of the hospitals that have similar situation, they have battery backups for those. So according to the manufacturer's website, there are 120 volt, 9 amp, full load amp refrigerators, and they're not all running at that status. Why not put in a battery backup to take care of the refrigerators, which in the freezers for the vaccines, and that doesn't equate to very much. And then the other problem, in the event you have a failure, you've got double redundancy. Because, and then the third part is, what is the lead time on this generator? If you get approved tonight, when can you have a generator on site?
Probably where we are currently, 4. Yeah, sounds like about 16 weeks on the lead time of the generator currently.
I mean, the battery backup that's another good option, right? If we're able to isolate those loads, we could maybe potentially take that entire ATS out. I know there's a whole bunch of loads that are moving from this to that. and that's by NEC code. We got a bunch of loads on this panel that all need to be over here, and then a bunch that can stay on this one. So we'd have to look at all those loads and then understand that. So because we're touching it, you know, there's let's say four circuits that we know need to be over here, but when the electrical engineer looked at it, he said, yep, these all need to be over here as well because they don't belong on this panel per NEC code. So the load we're talking about is probably 4 refrigerators plus some additional stuff. So that's where we'd have to look into that a little bit more. But that's a viable option though, to have a battery backup. And that's gonna give you a certain amount of time to react and fix, and hopefully, I don't know how many power outages you have here. I don't know, you have 1 or 2 a year. Generally, a building is gonna have that. That battery backup maybe can handle that for a 24-hour period, but if it's a 48-hour, now we run into a situation where maybe those need to be moved somewhere else, or another temporary generator needs to be brought in to pick up that load.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like we still needed the second panel anyway, even without the medical grade refrigerators, even if we did the backup. They were still recommending that we move things off the grid. So it is not just medical refrigerators.
That's what's driving the whole thing, but there are other loads that the engineer said needed to be moved. As long as that other panel is there, those need to be moved.
Our panels are the same age as the generator, so there is some work that need to be done on those to bring them up to code. We're basically grandfathered in until we make any changes. That's why existing right now, we don't have to change it. As soon as we touch it, it has to be up to code, and that's a lot of the additional work.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second on the floor for item 7E1A. All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on, item 7F, Land Use and Transportation Committee, Member Klein.
Thank you so much, Chairperson Johnston. The Land Use and Transportation Committee had all of our work done in the consent agenda. Our general report and the unapproved minutes was pages 2 to 8. But I would just sort of thank the members of the community for coming to speak about the strategic land use plan, and I would recommend all of our members, please take a look at it and distribute it to your constituents. And if you have feedback about the process or about the content, to please reach out to the folks at the McLean County Regional Planning, because it is still very much in play. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Member Klein. Moving on, item 7G, County Administrator, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Johnston. I do not have anything to present this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, item number 8, Other Business and Communication. The first thing that I would like to do is to mention on July 1st, 2025, Member Bloomfield provided to me a notice of her resignation, which was effective July 4th, 2025. Therefore, I am announcing the vacancy of a seat on the county board for a member to represent District 3. Pursuant to the McLean County Code, Section 20-10H, I am fixing the date upon which the appointment will be made to fill the vacancy as of August 14th, 2025. Also pursuant to the McLean County Code, written applications and resumes of those seeking appointment must be submitted to the County Administrator's Office by 12 noon on Monday. Wasn't it supposed to be Monday? This wasn't the updated one. The Monday prior to the executive committee, and that would be August the 4th. Applications must be signed by the applicants. All eligible applicants will be interviewed by the executive committee at its regular meeting, scheduled to begin at 4 p.m. on Monday, August 11th, 2025. I have to say that also in other communication, Member Lehman stole my thunder a little bit, but I did have Dan queue up the Animal Services page so that you could see some of the adoptable animals. They have a Facebook page, and then we have them here on our services page as well. Lots of dogs, lots of cats looking for their forever homes. It is something, it is a priority of our animal services to find them homes prior to another move. They've already made an adjustment to be with us, and it would be nice to get them to homes before that. So please take a look. If you've got somebody who is looking for any kind of forever friend, these two would be happy to join you at home. And then the other piece of information that I would just like to remind people of, we had mentioned earlier, we've got the fair coming up, always a great time. I want to thank everyone who is here tonight. I want to thank all of the county board members for their service. And we have other people. Member Lehman.
Thank you very much, Chair Johnston. I do apologize for stealing your thunder, but I think you actually win because you're showing everybody the pictures, which are entirely more compelling than anything I would have said. Look at Rue, adorable. The other thing I wanted to make sure that we shared out tonight is if you are really sad that June and Pride Month are over, you don't have to be sad, because here in Bloomington Normal, here in McLean County, we actually celebrate Pride Month in July. So as a heads up for you, Bloomington Bistro Pride Fest is Saturday, July 26th from 4 to 10 p.m. It's near the McLean County Museum of History. It's a free event, and it's family friendly. There is going to be lots of food, lots of music, lots of drag performances, and other performances. But we've got vendors queued up, and it's going to be a great time of getting the community together. So heads up there, hope to see you. And I'm really hoping to see the McLean County Museum of History lit up in the rainbow colors yet again this year. It's always a great sight. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Member Abel.
Not really an announcement, but I just wanted to draw attention to a couple of documents that we have as a county, because I've seen in the news a lot lately that there are some of our colleagues in Normal and Bloomington discussing the Mental Health and Public Safety Fund, and they seem to not have any idea what that is funding. So I just wanted to remind everyone that we put out this intergovernmental report on the fund every year that explains what is being funded, and that is available to everyone, including the public. We also have this community health assessment, community health needs assessment that comes out every couple of years. It's very in-depth. It not only tells us what our community needs are and the gaps that are currently existing, but it has many, many pages of successes and where we've had mental health funding, the programs that we do as a county, and not all of them are funded through the Mental Health and Public Safety Fund, but it gives a very detailed accounting of everything that we are doing as a county and what money is being spent and the successes that those programs are having. So the information on what this fund is spent on is readily available to everyone in the community, including other elected officials and members of the public. So I encourage you to read it. I spent the entire weekend reading this 285-page document to better educate myself on what we're doing, and I would encourage everyone else to take the time to do so as well. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think that we're still waiting on final approval for that to be published, but I'm hoping that will be soon.
It is published in the agenda packet for the Board of Health from
Okay.
last week, so it is
Okay.
public.
It is public. All right. Thank you so much. Any other communication from the board? Member Reeves.
After adjourning our meeting last month, Mr. Klaus was hit on his motorcycle leaving here. So I just wanted to make sure everyone, it's summertime, make sure you look twice for motorcycles, bicyclists.
Absolutely.
Just take an extra second and look.
Thank you for that reminder. It is always important to look twice and save a life. So I appreciate that, and we wish Mr. Klaus well. So seeing no other communications, I call this meeting adjourned.